Hello. So, how are all of you today? Well, I wonder if you can guess what we are going to be doing today. I found this little article in the Malay Mail, which is a Malaysian e-newspaper daily. They don't do print editions anymore, I don't think. But anyway, I found this article about Pierre Herme's 5-ingredient chocolate cake. Now, Pierre Herme is a famous Michelin chef, and far be it from me to worship at his altar, as it were. But at the end of the day, I was curious. This cake used an amazing amount of good quality chocolate. This is 60% dark chocolate. I think it's from Madagascar. This is good alkalized cocoa powder. So what I did was I wanted to try this chocolate cake, but I also have some experience making chocolate cakes, and you can never have a good enough chocolate cake recipe. Everyone should try and keep on trying chocolate cakes until they find their favorite. And so far I have my last favorite, but this one intrigued me. So I decided to make it. Now, one thing about me is, you should know, I can never leave well enough alone. So any recipe, I usually try and tweak it and make it my own. There was one other ingredient I took out of the cupboard just now. Instant coffee, but good quality instant coffee, or instant espresso if you'd like. I like instant coffee with chocolate because what it does is it really pops the taste of the dark chocolate. Don't use too much or the coffee flavor will really come through, but use enough and everything just pops and becomes chocolate. Now, this recipe is a lot about being brave enough to try something a little new. One thing I learned about this recipe is that you cannot cook it through. It needs to be slightly underdone. So take it out when there's still some crumbs or even a little bit of batter sticking to your skewer at the end. Don't be afraid. Don't be anxious. Just take it out. It will set up nicely, and in the fridge it will firm up, and you will get a moist, fudgy, chocolatey chocolate cake. So, without much further ado, let's go and make Pierre Herme's or Nigel's 5-ingredient or so chocolate cake. And come find your joy. After quite a few years on God's good earth, I've come to realize that my joy is based on my gratitude. If I don't find my gratitude, I'm almost always wondering, why me, and in the worst sense? So, one thing I've realized is that I've got to practice my gratitude daily. And sometimes it's writing lists, sometimes it's looking at people and reminding myself how blessed I am to have them in my life. So, it's a muscle. Go to Gratitude Gym daily. The first thing you do with regard to this chocolate cake is melt your chocolate. Let's do this in the microwave. High power, 45 seconds, then 30-second bursts until they all melt, and you'll see it soon. Soften your butter by cutting it up if it's still a little hard. Then what you want to do is sprinkle some salt with a 3-finger pinch. After which you are going to add in the sugar. And here, what you'll see is me taking a couple of teaspoons of sugar and putting it in as well. The reason being, I've actually converted this to volume because during this lockdown, I was minimizing my utensils. Next thing, you want to add the eggs one by one. This is actually known as the creaming method. So you whip the butter into a little bit of pale frenzy first. Then you add in the eggs one by one and whack it together until it comes into this sort of liquid paste. Having said that, it's quite liquid. So don't worry if it splits a little, just sieve the flour in and you'll be fine. Next, you want to pour in the melted chocolate, and look how gorgeously glossy and melted it is through this microwave method. Read the recipe in the description below. It describes everything you need to do, and it's so easy. You want to gently mix the batter together and then pour it into greased and floured molds. I'm using IKEA bowls here because I don't have an 8-inch rectangular loaf tin. Look at this glorious chocolate cake batter. You need to have it underdone, so bake it at 180 degrees Celsius for about 30 to 35 minutes, and when you do the skewer test, there should still be crumbs coming out of it. Lick the bowl and come and find your joy!